Hello and welcome back to this week's analysis. I hope you had a fantastic trading week last week. Well, I believe you did because I had a blast. Now I'm going to be kicking things off with USDJPY, but before we go into this week's analysis, I need to say this. Trading is very, very hard, but it can be simple if you know exactly what you are looking for in the market. Now, take a look at what I said last week. So for price to continue bearish on USDJPY, I have this trend line from the bottom here, 0.1, 0.2, and now price is trading around 0.3. So for price to continue bearish, I'd like to see price break below that zone properly and close, go back for a retest of that zone before we descend. Welcome back, guys. As you can see, I was initially bearish minded. However, I had a plan B, which was on the 1 hour time frame. Now take a look. And what if price is going to continue bullish? Remember, I like to give bullish and bearish scenarios. So for price to continue bullish, that means we need to break above this 1 hour time frame and this green zone here. We need to break above it. Then we want to catch a short buy. Welcome back, guys. So you can see, yes, I was bearish minded, but that was going to happen only when price breaks below this trend line and below this zone before price pushes lower. But I had a plan B, which was for price to break above this 1 hour trend line and above this green zone, then come back for a retest before we rally to the upside. So that happened, and me and those on the mentorship program actually took this trade. I usually trade euro dollar, but I actually decided to trade this since we're on a live session. Now price rallied all the way to the upside. You already know I like 2-to-1, so that was what we got. Price tapped into it before we started seeing any form of pullback. Now going into next week, what should we be expecting? Now I would like to see what's happening on the weekly time frame. Now on the weekly time frame, price was super bearish from this point that I rightly predicted, and last week price pushed higher, closing with a bullish candle. Now when price wants to start reversing, because I am expecting price to reverse from here, if we go to the monthly time frame, price doesn't just tap into a zone and just immediately pushes below. Now look at previously when price rejected that zone. You can notice that we had, when price tapped into that zone, price kind of moved sideways for at least 2 months or 3 months, depending on how you choose to look at it, before we collapsed. So that is what may most likely happen here. First of all, we need to see a monthly close for this month to be able to cement the fact that, okay, price may most likely continue lower. All right, I'm not saying it's just going to push all the way down. We are still in an uptrend, but I am anticipating a kind of a pullback. All right, but we'll come back to that when we come to the end of this month. But for now, we are looking at what is happening on a much lower time frame. Now on the daily time frame, price pulled back into a zone that it actually broke out from, tapped into this trend line, and looks like it is pushing higher. So next week we may see an initial push up before any form of reversal. Now my target for next week, my bullish target for next week, will be these short zones here, which is 157.900, 157.900. That is if price continues higher. And if price rather pushes lower from this point, that means I won't be selling from here. Well, I won't be trading this next week, except if I'm on a live and I see beyond reasonable doubt to actually sell. I won't be selling from here. I would rather like to see bearish commitment. So that means price has to come and break below this area here, which is around 154.225. So break below it, give it a retest, then I can trade down to this trend line or down to this zone here, which is around 151.895. So those are my bullish and bearish scenarios on USDJPY. Now next on my list is DXY. First of all, let's go to the weekly time frame. So DXY is currently bullish if you look at market structure, right? From this point, price created a high, a higher low, a higher high. So we are still in a bullish trend, all right, on the dollar index, at least from the weekly time frame perspective. However, if we go to the daily time frame, it looks like we are in a bearish trend. I mean, price created a double top, rallied down, when creating a lower low after rallying down, coming back here to retest this zone. So we may be pointing lower. So this is a tricky situation right here. So if price continues lower on DXY, then I am looking at price coming to this demand level here, which will form the third touch to this trend line. All right, something like this. If price continues lower, we'll be expecting to come into this demand level here so that we can push higher. And that demand level also aligns perfectly with the third touch of this trend line. And that is only if we are able to break below 104.967. So we need to think in probabilities. Remember, I usually come here week in, week out just to talk about the direction of the market. But my actual execution strategies doesn't care about the direction of the market. I could execute counter trend or in line with the trend, all right? So that is why it is important, if you want to be able to understand how I analyze the market properly and be able to properly execute it, then guys, do yourself a favor, grab the mentorship program. Of course, you can learn Forex for free online if you are willing to spend the time. But if you like what I do and your style aligns with what you watch in, week out on my channel, then it is important that you just take our mentorship programs so that you can properly take advantage of what I do here week in, week out. It is very, very important you do that. All right. But let's continue, guys. So now we have this 104.967 in our way. So if you want to sell, wait for price to break below this region, give it a retest. Remember, this is the daily time frame. When we go to a much lower time frame, this zone will be wider. All right, so don't look at it that it's tight. So how do you wait? Maybe you're wasting time or all of that. You don't need to worry about that. Once it breaks, you want to go to the lower time frame. Once a daily candlestick breaks and closes, you want to go to a lower time frame, wait for any form of pullback, and then you automatically know that your next target is this supply zone, which aligns with this trend line zone. All right, but if I see price push higher, now if we go to the 4-hour time frame, so if you're taking your time, you want to be sure what price is doing, then you can wait for price to create a new higher high above this previous 4-hour zone, because this is a demand level that price rejected significantly. So if you want to go bullish, it's advisable you wait for price to take out all those supply level, create a new higher high, then wait for price to come and retest that zone before you trade to these highs here. That's the proper thing to do. It requires patience. I know, but it is very important you do that. If you don't have a strategy that can allow you trade within this zone, like I do, all right? So to go bullish, wait for price on the 4-hour time frame to break above this zone, come back for a retest, and to go bearish, wait for a daily price to close below 104.967, then you go to a lower time frame, wait for any pullbacks into that zone before you sell into this zone. Remember, whatever happens on DXY affects the dollar pairs. I hope you know what I mean. So yeah, that is my bullish and bearish scenarios on DXY. So let's go to euro dollar. So euro dollar, just like the dollar index, we also have a trend line above. All right, the overall trend of price is bearish, low, lower high, lower low. So I'm expecting price to come into this trend line or into this area here, which is 1.08558 if you look to the far right. So that's this area. So I'm thinking if price continues bullish, then I'd like to see price come into this zone. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame and see how we can take advantage of this. We are going to be looking at a bullish and bearish scenario on this. Now, for the bullish scenario on this 4-hour time frame, you can notice that price is finding it difficult breaking above this trend line that has been tested multiple times previously. So to safeguard yourself, if you are more of a swing trader and you are not like me that can trade within this zone, because I actually traded within this zone last week, right? I shared the chart on Monday. If you're on the Telegram group, I actually showed that trade on the Telegram group, right? So I traded around here on the 15 minutes time frame, around somewhere around here. Where is that place? If I go all the way to the left, well, this is the screenshot on your screen. Time will not permit me to take you all the way back. So let's go back to the 4-hour time frame. So if you don't have the type of my strategy that can allow you trade even within this tight space, well, if you're looking for a clear area to trade within, then this is what you should do. It requires patience. Wait for price to break above this trend line. Wait for price to break above that trend line, because price is finding it difficult breaking above that trend line. Now wait for price to break above that trend line and above this price level here, which is 1.08558. 08125. So wait for price, a 4-hour candlestick to break above, then go to a much lower time frame. In my case, like the 15 minutes or 30 minutes time frame, wait for pullbacks, wait for my confirmation, then I will trade into this demand level here, just like what we mentioned on DXY. If you have to rewind, all right, so you understand what I'm talking about. On DXY, we have a demand level. On euro dollar, we have a supply level. So if price takes out this trend line and this zone, go to a much lower time frame, wait for pullback and catch a trade into this supply level here. Then for bearish scenarios, wait for price to break below this zone, which is 1.07064 and this trend line. So wait for price to break below it, come back for a retest. Then we have a long target, a long space to the downside here, which is around 1.04850 area. All right, so that's our sell target. Our buy target is still short because overall we are bearish. All right, if you go to a much higher time frame, overall on Euro USD we are bearish, so any buys is going to be short-lived. So if we come here, our buy target is here. If we break above it, retest it, then our next buy target will be 1.09800. All right, but our sell target is all the way down here. So that is that on euro dollar. The next on my list is AUDUSD. Now AUDUSD midweek, we did an analysis on the Telegram group. I actually shared the recorded version on the YouTube channel. All right, so if you want to participate in our midweek live sessions, then the link to the Telegram channel is down below. All right, so I actually called a trade around here on the 15 minutes time frame. We'll go to the 15 minutes time frame. On that live session, I called the trade around here. So I said you should wait for price to come into this zone before you sell, and you can see how price came into that zone and sold off significantly. If you doubt me, here is a quick recap of that particular live session. So maybe I would like to see maybe a pullback into this area, let's say around here on this 15 minutes time frame. So yeah, my preferred selling zone would be here, around here, which is around 0.66177. Welcome back, guys. So price played out perfectly, but on the bigger picture, since that is what we do here most of the time, I want to start from the monthly time frame, or let me go to the weekly time frame. So on the weekly time frame, in that last week's analysis, remember I said we need a weekly candle to cement the fact that price may most likely push lower. And why is that? Market structure wise, price is bearish, low, lower high, lower low. Now we are back here, all right, to equal highs. So for price to continue bullish, if that is actually what price intends to do, then on this weekly time frame, we need to create a new higher high, breaking above these zones here. Then when that happens, we expect a pullback, and then we trade into new highs. Remember, this is the weekly time frame. So on a much lower time frame, it is a wider space right there. All right. So because this zone, if you look further left, just like I analyzed on that particular live session, if you look further left, you will discover that that zone is a strong support and resistance level, right? Around here, around here, around here, around here. All right. So you can notice that that zone is a strong support, right? Price is respecting that zone. For the past couple of months, price has been finding it difficult breaking above this zone. So for we to go bullish, then price has to create a new higher high on this weekly time frame. All right, so because of that, I was like, cool, price is going to go bearish. So I came to the daily time frame and I plotted this zone, capturing 1, 2, 3, 4, capturing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches. All right, and I'm anticipating that price is going to continue trading lower from that point. So my next target, if price continues bearish, will be here. But because I always don't overlook plan B, so for plan B, if price breaks above this 0.66444 area, then we are going to start going bullish. All right, so that means we have a new higher high that is obviously higher than all these highs here. So we'll go to a much lower time frame, wait for pullbacks and trade into newer highs, maybe around here, which is 0.68440. All right, so that's plan B. But my plan A is for price to continue lower. All right. And as a matter of fact, between this zone, price created high, higher low, higher high. Now higher low, we are seeing a lower high forming. So if we can create a new lower low, it has cemented the fact that price is going to continue downward. All right. You know, this is a weekly analysis and our time is limited. I can't go into every tiny little details why I see the market the way it is. So that is why, once again, enroll in our mentorship program to be able to do this on your own. All right, because I'll definitely go in details on that particular mentorship. So let's go to the 4-hour time frame. So on the 4-hour time frame, you see price, like I mentioned last week, on the 15 minutes time frame, price is still respecting my 15 minutes zone, this mini box right here. So price is still respecting that zone. So I'll be expecting price to continue lower. And if we break below this lower trend line on this 4-hour time frame, then I believe price is going to continue lower, with around here being our first target and here being our second target around here. All right. So that is that for AUDUSD. So bearish scenario, bullish scenario will be above this zone, which is 0.66444. All right, that will be a bullish scenario if price can break above it with a daily candlestick. So that is that on AUDUSD. GBPUSD is quite complicated at the moment. I don't have much to say on GBPUSD, but if you look at the weekly time frame on GBPUSD, price is in a downtrend. All right, look at more recent price action. Focus on this zone. Price is in a downtrend around this zone. Why do I know price is in a downtrend? I mean, from this point, price was going higher, created a new higher high, then blasted below, creating a new lower low that is obviously lower than this low. And what has price technically done? Price has technically gone back there to retest that zone. And we have closed this particular week. Remember, we're on the weekly time frame. So every candlestick on this particular time frame represents 1 week of price action. So we've closed last week with a bearish candle. So does that mean we're going to continue bearish from this point going into next week? That is a very, very huge probability. And that's actually what I would like to see. However, we may still experience some kind of manipulation if we go down to the, let's even check out what we look like on the daily time frame. So on the daily time frame, we are back below this zone. The price is just ranging on this daily time frame. I mean, you can see how these candlesticks are moving side by side on the daily time frame. I don't know why GBPUSD likes ranging these days, but let's go to the 4-hour time frame. So on the 4-hour time frame, actually, based on my last week analysis, I said I'd like to see price break below here, go back for a pullback before we continue lower. But that pullback may not happen here. Price may attempt this upper trend line that has been tested multiple times. So price may attempt this upper trend line before pushing lower. But guys, I won't even lie to you. I can't give you a 100% direction on GBPUSD right now. So I'm just going to skip that. I'm sorry about that. If I get clarity within the week on our live session, I'm going to talk about GBPUSD, but let's quickly go to gold, which is the last on our list. I'm moving pretty much fast because our time is fast spent. So last week on GBPUSD, as usual, I had a buy and sell scenario. So the buy scenario was for price to break above this zone, which is 2,340 region, and the bearish scenario was for price to break below this zone, give it a retest, and continue lower into our bearish target. So however, price went with the bullish scenario, and if you were on the lower time frame like me, you probably would have caught this trade. But let's go back to the 4-hour time frame. However, with this stall here, I believe, or I don't believe, because the market may just open and continue higher, which is a possibility, but this is where you pick and choose exactly what you want to do in the market. And that's the mistake many beginner traders make. When they come to, some people will come to the comment section and be like, why price will definitely not do this, this is what price will do. Who cares about the analysis? Just plot your zone and know how you are going to act when price does this and that. All right, that's all that matters. It's not about you can be right about the analysis and still end the week in losses. All right, so I laugh at traders that always be like, they are so aggressive. I like constructive contributions, and thankfully there are so many of you guys that contribute constructively, but some people will just be so violent about their contribution. I will not do this, I will not do that. The market doesn't care whether you choose to do this or that. You just know your zones. So if you will not do this, for me that wants to do this, if that doesn't happen, then I stay on the sidelines, just like what happened on USDJPY. USDJPY last week, I was more bearish than bullish, yet I did not sell because price didn't come into my selling position. But thankfully, I have a plan B which aligns with the bullish direction. Was I able to take advantage of the bullish price action? Yes, I did. I showed you earlier. So stop being rigid about your analysis. I'm right that price did this. Dump all of that and focus on your levels and know what you're going to do when price does this. All right. So I gave plan A and plan B. So price broke above, went with this bullish side of things, and now we are pointing lower. So I'd like to see price come back to retest this zone before we continue higher. Last week I said my target is 2,429, but I'm going to refine that target to this area here. All right, so my new target is 2,400. So if we go to a much lower time frame, there's something like a demand level on the 1 hour time frame here. All right, sorry, let me go back to the 4 hour time frame and make that zone visible on the 1 hour time frame. All right, let's go back to the 1 hour time frame. So on the 1 hour time frame, I can see this demand level around here. So I'd like to see price come down and then rally to our target here. So your stop loss should be below, take profits above here if you want to hold for a longer period of time. Because even if you go to the weekly time frame, you will see that we closed last week with a solid bullish engulfing candle on gold. So next week I am bullish on gold. All right, at least until we come into that target before we start seeing maybe any possible pullback, or we may just break above it and just continue trading higher. All right, so that is that on gold, and that is that for this week. So once again, guys, if you want to take your trading to the next level, you know what to do, and you can absolutely also learn this for free online if you're willing to put in the work. But the difference between you doing it on your own and purchasing a mentorship is because now you are streamlining your learning curve, you are fast tracking it. All right, and it's very, very important to invest in your education. Forex is no different than being a doctor, a lawyer, and whatever. The only difference is the level, the barrier entry is very, very low. You can just open a brokerage account and put in your money, but you keep blowing it because you feel like you don't want to pay for mentorship. All right, yet when you go to school and go for those low paying jobs, you are willing to pay. So you see the idea that many beginner traders have, but it's all good. If you are not interested in our mentorship program, make sure you keep watching our videos, leaving those beautiful comments, adding your own analysis to in the comment section. Let's say maybe you don't agree with something I've said here, constructively put it in the comment section, and I really, really appreciate you guys. And once again, if you are yet to subscribe, you know what to do. If you are yet to like, you know what to do. If you are yet to share, you know what to do. I wish you a successful trading week, and I'm going to see you in our live session on the Telegram channel within the week. Bye, guys.